Good morning, friend. It's super early. It's Monday morning, and yesterday I did a throwback episode for you. You Can Get Up, one of my all-time favorite episodes. And there's somebody listening today. I've already heard from you, so I know you're listening, and I just want you to hear me right now. Somebody emails and says, I know I'm supposed to get up. I know Jesus is holding his hand out. I'm out of gas. I don't have it. I need something that I'm missing, and I don't have the juice to get up. I need some help. Listen, friend, here's another throwback, and I'm bringing this back because it's very specific. There, you can have fuel for your hungry soul, the things you're hungering for, the things you're thirsting for, the power that you're missing, the juice, the gas, the tools that you need. They're right there. You just need some fuel for your hungry soul. And I'm going to bring this back to you because it's going to address that question. If you think you're down and out and you're just starving for something and you don't know what it is and you just feel like you're out of gas, this is going to help you. It's fuel for your hungry soul. And all you have to do, my friend, is start today. Good morning, my friend. I hope you're doing well. It's a beautiful morning here, looking at the sunrise over the river. And I hope you are happy and well wherever you are. Getting ready to celebrate Easter tomorrow. It's the most important event in human history, the fact that we serve a risen Savior. And I hope that you are able to be with people you love to celebrate this amazing and great event tomorrow, wherever you are. I wanted to spend a little time with you this morning as we move into April. This episode that I'm getting ready to record here was designed for the patrons. I had this idea to every month do a kind of a deep dive with the patrons, the partners of the podcast. But this message has been kind of sitting with me for a few days as I've been putting it together, and I realized you need to hear this. Everybody needs to hear this. So this is not something that I just want a few people to hear. So patrons, you'll be getting your special monthly episode in a day or two. But this one needs to go out to you, my friend, to everybody, but especially you if you're hearing me right now, or since you are hearing me right now. I want to get one thing in front of you this morning, a really short little idea. There's a verse in Psalm 34:8 that says, "Taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the one who takes refuge in him." And that word blessed, it's kind of an unfortunate translation in English because it used to mean, basically it was a synonym for happy several centuries ago. But nowadays, blessed has kind of a spiritual connotation. And the actual literal Greek translation of that word that was used for that was translated as blessed, it actually means happy. So it doesn't mean anything deeper than that. It means that if you taste and see that the Lord is good, you will be happy. You will take refuge in him, and it will make you happy. And of course, I'm always talking about I want you to be infinitely happier. And as we get into Action April, we're going to need to change our minds about a couple of things. I want to make one little shift in our mindset. And it's going to involve getting to know the Lord enough to taste and see that he is good so that we can be happy by taking refuge in him. Lisa and I have been working on getting our bodies back in shape after the doldrums of the pandemic in 2020 and all the weird stuff that happened. Everybody kind of got out of sorts, and we weren't working in the person, and it was a lot of time at home, and everybody sort of got off kilter a little bit. And so we've been using this app called Noom, in like November, Oscar, Mike, Noom. So Noom.com is a kind of a psychology, not really so much about weight loss for us. It's more about just getting our mind back in order around how we eat and why we eat and when we eat and all those kinds of things. And that app basically gave me an idea in context with that verse, Psalm 34:8, that I don't think I'd ever actually thought about before. And so it made me think about you. And today, my friend, we're going to talk about how to change our thinking around the difference between food and fuel. The difference between food and fuel, because it's going to help us to recharge our hearts and our spirits. And we're going to do that starting today. Hey, I'm so glad to have you listening. I'm Dr. Lee Warren, and I live in Nebraska in the United States of America with my unbelievably beautiful and brilliant wife, Lisa Warren, and the super pups, Harvey and Lewis, who have some sort of dead animal bone in their mouth right now they're playing with outside. I am a neurosurgeon and an author, and I'm here to help you harness neuroscience, the power of your brain, faith, the power of your spirit, and good old common sense to help you lead a healthier, better, happier life. Listen, you can't change your life until you change your mind, and I'm here to help you learn the art of self-brain surgery to get that done. You can get the show notes and more on my website, wlee1md.com, and if you like the show, please subscribe so you never miss an episode, and tell your friends all about it. There's 3 little dots on your app you can tap and send this episode to a friend via text message. Check it out. wlee1md.com is the website, /prayer if you want to join us for prayer, /newsletter if you want to find out all the stuff that's going on every week, especially to get the info about the Infinitely Happier app that's coming soon. Hey, I'm Dr. Lee Warren. I'm here to help you change your mind so you can change your life. And today we're looking at the relationship between food and fuel, because it's not all about what we're putting into our mouths. You can't change your life until you change your mind. We're going to look at how we think about what we're really hungry for starting today. Okay, let's go back to Psalm 34:8, New International Version, Psalm 34:8. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the one who takes refuge in him. And again, a better translation of that word blessed would be happy. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Happy is the one who takes refuge in him. Now, I told you about Noom. We've been using this Noom app. And Noom is where I got the clarity of thinking about food as being fuel. I, of course, know that. I'm a biochemist. My undergrad degree is in biochemistry, and I understand how cellular respiration works and how the energy processes and engines of your body work. And food basically provides the glucose and the molecules that your body needs to burn the engine to keep your body going, right? And if you have too much food, then your body's smart enough to store extra energy as fat, and we basically get bigger when we eat more than we need. And so when you eat less than you actually have to run those processes, or when you exercise and burn off additional calories, then guess what? You lose weight. It's not rocket science. It's not even brain surgery. It's just basic biochemistry that if you put more into your body than your body needs, you will store it. And that storage mechanism, unfortunately, is fat. And if you burn more than you intake, then you will lose fat, because you have to if you're not getting enough glucose in your mouth, then your body will switch a process called ketosis on, and that process of ketosis is what turns fat back into fuel, and you burn fat off your body in order to mobilize glucose to keep your brain going and the rest of your organs going. So it's a very simple process of biochemistry, and it doesn't matter about your glands or your hormones or your genetics or any of that. The fact is, if you get your calorie and exercise balance right, you will lose weight. There's no way around it. It's a biochemical fact. And so when you start thinking about food as fuel and not as some of the other things that we use food for, like comfort or eating out of boredom, or what they call fog eating in Noom, which is where you basically eat a whole bunch of stuff while you're watching television, or you eat a whole giant thing of popcorn while you're watching a movie. You don't even think about it. You're just sort of in a mental fog. Or a storm eater is where you're basically stressed out about something and you start eating a whole bunch of stuff because you don't want to think about what you're stressed out about, right? And we've all done that, or maybe all of us have. Some of us have. I have. So the biochemistry of energy and cellular respiration, as I told you before, is that food gives us the fuel for our body's processes. And so if you can switch your thinking away from using food as a surrogate for something else and use it instead as a fuel for the processes that your body needs, then you can actually just do a little bit of research and figure out that for your age and your size and your activity level, you need a certain number of calories every day to maintain a baseline. And if you maintain that baseline, you maintain a stable weight. If you go below the baseline, you will lose weight. If you go above it, you will gain weight. And once you start to understand that, then you can really start to get things in order. But the psychology of eating that Noom helps us figure out is to understand why we make some of the choices that we make, and more importantly, sometimes why we do things without actually making choices or thinking about them, because food's just in our way. We have a bag of Cheetos in the drawer, and we just reach for them when we're stressed, but we do that because they're there, number one, and also because we don't think about a better way to manage that stress. Okay? So here's a biochemical fact for you. It takes about 500 calories a day of deficit to produce 1 pound of weight loss per week. In other words, if you add up all the food that you intake and you subtract all of your baseline metabolic rate and how many calories you burn at a baseline, and then you subtract calories that you burn in exercise, if that number is less than 500 a day, you're going to maintain or gain your body weight. But if you burn off, if you have a 500 calorie a day deficit, in other words, if you're burning more than 500 calories a day excess, then you're going to lose a pound a week. There's no way around it. It doesn't matter how slow you think your metabolism is. If you get that number down to 500 in the hole, you're going to lose weight. It's as simple as that. But here's the thing. We often eat, as I mentioned, we often eat because of all kinds of reasons other than the one reason we need to eat, which is that we're hungry, because we need fuel, because food means something to us, or we use it as a surrogate for something else. Now, it's not just food. We use all kinds of things as surrogates for something else. When we have pain in our lives, we often cover that pain with something else: food, alcohol, sex, spending, gambling, relationships, whatever. We put something else in our mind, in our brain, television. So we do that so that we don't have to think about the thing that's hurting us. Here's an example of the people. Some people have a healthy relationship with alcohol, and they like to collect wine, right? They have a cellar full of old vintage wines. Well, maybe you've got a refrigerator full of wine, but if you don't have a bottle of wine in your refrigerator that's more than a year old, you're not a collector. You're a drinker. Get that balance right in your mind. If you are a person who understands money and how money works, and you understand the difference between an asset and a liability, and you become a good investor, you can turn money into something good, and you can use it for the kingdom, or you can use it to help your family. But if you don't understand all those things about money, and you just consume it, and you use it to buy things, and you use it to make yourself feel better by purchasing things on Amazon, then you're a spender and you're not an investor. And that balance is wrong. And you're using money as a surrogate to not think about some things and think about other things instead. Work can be an example of that. Some people work and have a healthy relationship with their work and a good work-life balance, and other people work all the time so they don't have to go home and deal with that relationship that's problematic, or they work all the time so they don't have to feel bad about themselves for something else. They become workaholics, and work becomes a surrogate to a pacifier to cover something else that they don't want to deal with. People who have multiple sexual partners because they don't want to actually have a real relationship, or they don't want to deal with the relationship, the one relationship that they're supposed to have. So, kind of a man about town instead of a person with deep commitments and lasting, true, connected romance that you're supposed to have with your lifetime partner. So all those things can be surrogates or substitutes for the thing that you're really hungry for. You're covering something that you need with something that you think you want in the short term. Or you're covering pain that you don't want to process with something that makes you think you feel better for a little while, instead of finding something that actually fixes it or makes you feel better forever. Watching a little television in the evening to relax is fine. If you've had a stressful day and you want to turn on and watch an episode of something, that's not a problem. But binge watching 12 seasons of Bones while eating an entire bag of Dot's cheese puffs that you impulse bought while checking out at Ace Hardware and discovered they were so much better than Cheetos, not that anybody's ever done that, that might be a problem, right? Brené Brown wrote an amazing book called Daring Greatly. And she talks a lot in that book about what she calls numbing. We talked about that a minute ago. But numbing behavior is basically when you use something to numb yourself, like giving yourself a shot of lidocaine to numb your skin so that you don't feel the pain of the injury that you have. Numbing is when you use something to numb your brain, to take away the pain of a hard day or a hard life, like fog eating, like addictions to alcohol or gambling, or anything that we use as a surrogate so we don't have to feel the thing that we're not wanting to deal with. And she wrote this amazing paragraph right here. This is really what I want to get to today. She said, Brené Brown, in the book Daring Greatly, said this: "We may not do it compulsively or chronically, which is addiction, but that doesn't mean that we don't numb our sense of vulnerability. And numbing vulnerability is especially debilitating because it doesn't just deaden the pain of our difficult experiences. Numbing vulnerability also dulls our experiences of love, joy, belonging, creativity, and empathy. We cannot selectively numb emotion. You numb the dark, and you also numb the light." And that, friend, that's the one and only point that I want to make to you today. Surrogates are for suckers. When we numb the dark stuff, that you don't want to deal with today, it's still there tomorrow. And now you feel bad because of whatever you ate or drank or did last night. Lisa and I call that the tomorrow tax. And you still have the problem that you tried to numb yourself from. So it's a double whammy. You don't feel the pain tonight, but you still feel it tomorrow because you didn't fix the thing that you were trying to numb yourself from. But you also don't remember what you did, can't find your keys, you don't know where you parked your car. You've got a problem today that you're paying for because of what you did yesterday, and you still have the original problem. So numbing is dumbing. Numbing is stupid. So the secret to getting food under control in your life, for example, is to make a mental switch from stop thinking about food as comfort, as joy, as satisfying some emotional place, from not thinking about it and snacking or mindlessly piling calories into your body, and switch that to thinking about food as fuel. Your body needs a certain amount of calories to maintain those metabolic processes, and if you give it the fuel it needs and not excess, then you get things in balance. You'll start thinking differently about the choices you make around food, and you can have rewards and treats and desserts and extras sometimes in healthy ways, but you put them in the right balance because now you're thinking clearly about food. You got it in the right mindset. And as applied to numbing behaviors, we need to make a switch to vulnerability and wisdom, away from surrogates and tomorrow taxes. You can go ahead and let yourself feel the pain and process it and find the fuel you need to burn it. And I'll tell you what, the fuel is Jesus. He can help you harness that pain and make it work for you, to motivate you and make changes in your life, to help others and find gratitude. And I go back to Psalm 34:8. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed, happy is the one who takes refuge in him. When you numb, you can't be selective. You might not feel the pain, but you lose the joy too. You numb the dark, but you lose the light too. Remember, life is a Hobson's choice. You can't have the good without the bad. So we're left with this, friend. On this beautiful Saturday morning, we are left with this. You want to balance your body, you got to learn to see food as fuel. You want to settle your spirit, you have to learn to eat what you're really hungry for. The bread of life, the living water, the good stuff God offers us that won't rot or fail or make us diabetic or fill us with regret that we have to deal with tomorrow. Now, if you're not a spiritual person, put this in a context of understanding what I'm talking about. There's something that really will solve your pain problem. There's something that really will cover up the issues that you're dealing with and heal them. But it's not found in a bottle, and it's not found in a bag of yellow imitation cheese puffs. It's not found there. You got to deal with it on a spiritual level and figure it out. I think that's Jesus to me. Find what it is for you, and I would encourage you to join us in the John to Know, James to Grow Bible study. If you've never learned who Jesus is, just trust me enough to walk down that path with us. I'll put a link in the show notes for you. But in my opinion, the bread of life, the living water, the good stuff that God offers us that won't kill us, won't make us fat, won't make us regretful about yesterday, that's found in Jesus. And it's good for your brain too, by the way, because when you get your spirit right, your brain chemistry gets better. There's no tomorrow tax with Jesus. There's abundance and peace and joy, and your brain chemistry improves when you fuel your body with the good stuff and when you learn to think more clearly about what food is for and what it's not for. You see, we need to use the things that God made, food, drink, sex, money, all the tools. We use them as gifts and tools that He made them to be. They all have context and roles and places and times. They were never meant to be security blankets, anesthetics, little g gods, or prisons. You were designed, my friend, to be truly satisfied only in the context of a solid relationship with your Creator. And all the good things in life make us happier when we use them in their proper and balanced times and places. Whenever we use them as numbing agents or as anything else, they hurt us, they leave us empty, and we find ourselves still hungry. We need fuel for our hungry souls. We need to taste and see that the Lord is good. We need to be vulnerable enough to admit, at least to yourself, at least to me and my God and you and your God, be vulnerable enough to admit what it is that we're using to try to numb the pain. If you look at that question, really dig into it and start trying to put that thing back where it belongs and let the heart surgeon, the great physician, help you heal it instead of just managing it. Go back and listen to Season 2, Episode 9, Managing or Changing, for more on that. If you let the great physician do that, you will start to feel better. And you'll understand what He means when He says taste and see, and you'll be happy. It's time to stop numbing yourself, friend. It's time to go fill up on the only fuel that will really make things better. It's time to taste and see, and it's time to start today. Hey, thanks for listening. The Dr. Lee Warren podcast is listener supported. Check out patron.podbean.com/Dr. Lee Warren, patron.podbean.com/Dr. Lee Warren. Patrons and partners get episodes, extra episodes every month, free books, transcripts, partner-only episodes, all kinds of good stuff. Partners like you allow us to stay ad-free and keep growing. Hey, go to my website, wleewarrenmd.com, for more information about my newsletter on wleewarrenmd.com/newsletter. You find out about my show, my books, and more. You'll get information about the Infinitely Happier app that we're coming out with. You're going to love it. But it's invitation only at first, because we want to give the community a chance to grow up in a healthy way. So we're going to start by only inviting newsletter subscribers. So check it out. Also, don't forget to go to wleewarrenmd.com/prayer if you want to join us in this amazing prayer community that has sprung up all over the world. People are praying for each other, helping each other, encouraging each other. wleewarrenmd.com/prayer. If you only have time to do one thing today, do that. wleewarrenmd.com/prayer. Hey, the theme music for the show is Water into Wine by Tommy Walker, graciously provided for free by Tommy and the good people who are changing the world at Tommy Walker Ministries. Get the music for free and consider supporting Tommy's great work at TommyWalkerMinistries.org. Remember, you can't change your life until you change your mind, and you have to start today. I'm Dr. Lee Warren. I'll talk to you soon. God bless you. Happy Easter. Have a great day.